The Jerusalem of Europe, filled with hundreds and hundreds of old churches, narrow cobblestone alleyways like the ones behind me. This is the city of Ohrid. Ohrid is a town located on the northern shores of Lake Ohrid, which is a massive lake that borders Albania and Macedonia. But this is a place that is beautiful. I mean, just look behind me. We're currently in the Old Town area, and you've just got these old buildings and everything. It is amazing. Today, we've got 24 hours here in Ohrid, and I'm going to show you guys some of the old churches, the old monasteries, and sort of the old history that Ohrid has to offer. I've been here for just a little bit, but it might actually be one of the most beautiful places I've seen in all of Eastern Europe. It might be one of my favorite places actually in Eastern Europe, and I'm really excited to show you this. If you're coming to the Balkans, it's got to be a place that is on your bucket list. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get the day started. This is not a very big green market. It's a pretty small green market. It's just this area behind me, and then the area which is in front of me, which is this sort of open area. But other than that, it's not very big. Now, of course, they've got all the fresh produce you want. Very vegetable, fruit based. Now, of course, here early in the morning in Ohrid, it does get pretty hectic. We've got locals coming here, buying their things, doing their daily shopping. So it's like grocery shopping all the way, and it is very busy, very hectic. But it's a very small market, and that's fair considering that Ohrid is not the biggest city here in Macedonia. So it does make sense that the market is proportionally smaller. But still, you've got all the things that you need. Potatoes, onions, shallots, garlic, fruits, any fruit you can imagine. The fruits here are incredibly fresh as well. I mean, the lake and the soil here, it's just perfect for growing fruits and vegetables, which is why they have so many fruits and vegetables. They also have chilies, which I love, and which is why the food here is so delicious. But local market, gotta come here when you're here at Ohrid. Now, before you actually get into the fortress, you have to enter the old town, and right behind me in these gates, this is the north gate that allows you entrance into the old town. What I love about Ohrid is that wherever you're hiking, as long as you're on this like sort of mountain or old town, you just have an incredible view of the lake. Look at that lake right behind me. You've got mountains that are sort of well, finally, after not a very long walk, but a fairly steep walk with a lot of people breaking down there, we finally made it up to the top. You can see this massive brick structure behind me. It is big. It is honestly massive. This right here is the Fortress of Ohrid, also known as Samuel's Fortress. And now we're going to go inside and see what's in there. I am currently standing at one of the most insane fortresses I've ever seen. The entire lake of Lake Ohrid is just right behind me, and its full beauty and its full expanse. This is incredible. Now, this fort, apparently, it was mentioned, the town of Ohrid, the ancient town, and the fort was mentioned like in what, 200 BC. That's how old it was. Originally, it was built by, from what I read on the sign, Philip II of Macedonia was the one who originally ordered it. But this fort has been destroyed and rebuilt multiple times through multiple conquerors. You know, the Byzantines, the Ottomans, the Greeks, the Macedonians. There's just been so many empires that have come through here and built and rebuilt this castle, this fortress every single time. Now, entrance into the fortress is not free. You do have to pay an entrance fee of 120 dinars, but regardless, it is a beautiful place. It honestly is incredible. You can literally see the entire town of Ohrid right behind me, and then of course the lake that just extends out all the way. It is beautiful. The sun is out, and it's honestly one of the best located fortresses that you're gonna have in the entire world. The view is incredible, and like I said, right over there, that's Albania. All the way far on the other side of the lake is Albania, which is crazy to me that we can see another country from the top of this fortress. But this is the highest most point here in Ohrid, in this town, which is why it gives you such a great view of the entire region. A little ways down from the fortress, which you can actually see is all the way right up there, you can see the Macedonian flag, is this structure right behind me. This is the ancient amphitheater of Ohrid, and it is an amphitheater that's still used to this day. You can literally see they've got like lights and shows and things like that, instruments that are probably played around here, probably concerts that they have here. I do have to say, for an old sort of amphitheater, it does look very, very well restored. It is very, very well done. You can see that they sort of smoothen out the rock so that people can sit here. And like I said, it is used to this day for concerts, for shows, for other things, for other entertainment purposes that are here. Now, we're not going to actually go down because it's just, you know, a bunch of rocks in there, and I don't really feel like walking all the way down into the amphitheater. But this is one of those really, really old structures of Ohrid that shows you, you know, how this place, this sort of settlement has been around for thousands and thousands and hundreds of years. I mean, up there we already saw, you know, the first fortifications were like 200 BC, but the settlement around it was also around for a very long time. And this amphitheater here has been around for just as long as the settlements around here. They needed entertainment, and this was their form of entertainment. Now, obviously, the entertainment we have today is very different from the entertainment in the past, but nonetheless, the fact that it's still standing, that it still exists, and it's still being used to this day, that is incredible. Aren't you so cute? You're so cute, aren't you? At the start of this video, I had mentioned that Ohrid was Jerusalem of Europe, and the reason is because this entire place is filled with old churches. It's said that at one point there were 365 churches, one church for each day of the year. Now, these churches, they're dotted all across the city of Ohrid, which makes it one of the most holy places to come and visit. Now, obviously not all 365 churches exist anymore, but a lot of them are still existing today, and you can still see them all across the old city. It's said that even though some people say Poland has the oldest university, some people say the oldest university was actually here in Ohrid because of all these churches. So because of all that history, and because there are so many churches for us to see, we're going to spend a big part of the rest of the day exploring the different churches that are here in the city. And we're starting off right here with this really, really big one that's near the top of the old town. This is the church mother of God Peribleptos. Let's go inside. Unfortunately, because the frescoes inside have to be preserved, photography and videography is not allowed inside the church. But there are these two young painters. Their names were Mihajlov and Evithi, and they were the ones who painted a lot of the churches here in Ohrid. And inside, this is one of their first works, one of their most beautiful works inside the church, and it is stunning. The paintings are so beautiful. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see it. I took like one shot, but that was it. But it is stunning on the inside. It's very quiet. They have some like monastic music inside, which makes it really, really incredible. But you can see a lot of these churches have been around for literally hundreds and hundreds, if not like, you know, thousands of years. That church was there since like the 1200s, which is a very, very long time ago. And it's a part of many, many other churches here in Ohrid that gave this place the name of the Jerusalem of Europe. Unfortunately, like I said, can't shoot inside, but it is regardless still very, very beautiful. Now, right outside of the other church we just had is another church. Like I said, these churches are everywhere, and this is the Church of Saint Dimitria. Now, this one you cannot enter. It is literally locked and bolted. You can see right here. It is completely, absolutely locked. So no way we can go into this church. But like I said, there were 365 churches. Not all of them were big churches. And this church, if you see, it's a tiny, tiny church. It is literally like the size of like 3 cars. It is so small, like this building right behind me, that's it. That's the church. It's tiny. This church was built a long time ago, just like all the other churches here in Ohrid, and yet it's still standing today. Unfortunately, we can't go in, but nonetheless, one of the 365 churches that were here in the city. Now, we've been visiting a lot of churches, visiting the fortress, so these are all sort of things that were very old, Christian old, but this place was also colonized and taken over by the Ottomans, and in fact when the Ottomans took over, there was one guy who sort of ruled over this place but answered directly to Istanbul, to the Ottoman Empire, which is why you can see a lot of Turkish influences in Ohrid. Now, we've just come into this little area. It's this beautiful little courtyard. That was an Ottoman courtyard. There is a cemetery, and it is a Turkish cemetery. You can see the writings on there. They're not, you know, the Christian Latin. They're not any of those. This is the traditional Turkish sort of characters and a lot of Arabic writing as well. And you've got a mosque here, which is incredibly old, one that dates back to the Ottoman era. I think we're allowed inside, so let's go ahead and check it out. Men inside the mosque who were doing their prayers, and I didn't want to go all the way in because I didn't want to disturb them. But beautiful green carpets cover the entire place, a chandelier in the middle, and it's old. This is a really old mosque. The gravestones behind the mosque are incredibly old. They're so old that they've turned different colors. I'm sure they were white and beautiful, now they're almost black, but it's just so much history steeped in this place from all the people that have taken over, all the empires that have taken over Ohrid. And each time a civilization comes in, each time an empire comes in, it adds another layer and another layer of culture and history in this part of the world. It's fascinating. Well, we might have seen a mosque, but now it's back to the old churches here in Ohrid, and we've come to one of the bigger churches, one out of the 365 that are in this city. This is a beautiful old church that you can just see right behind me, and it is the Church of Saints Clement and Panteleimon. I think that's the name, I think that's how you pronounce it. But let's go. I think we're not allowed to film inside again with the frescoes, but it is beautiful on the outside, so let's go ahead and take a look inside. That is a really old church, and the unfortunate thing is that inside they have a lot of construction going on. They got like metal beams, wooden bars and everything, so you can't really see the frescoes, which sucks. But the chandeliers on the inside are incredible. They are like these massive, big, beautiful golden chandeliers inside. And like I said, this is one of the bigger churches here in Ohrid, and it's one of those 365 churches. I know I'm repeating that a lot, but that is what makes Ohrid special, the Jerusalem of Europe. And even just the outside, I mean, just look at the outside architecture of this building. That is incredible. That sort of old brick style with the sort of roof and the cross at the top. It's only something you're going to find here in Ohrid. It's only going to be something that you find here in this part of the world, in this part of Macedonia, and it is beautiful to imagine that this is the same structure that's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. The best part also for me is that right behind me, beautiful view of the lake that just extends on and on and on, and it's located, so the fortress is located on this top of the peninsula. Just below it is where this church is located, so it's actually like a 5-10 minute walk away from the fortress, so it's a very convenient thing just to put together. But the church inside is beautiful, and they also have a lot of souvenirs, so if you want to buy souvenirs you can also buy it inside. Now, this is a great spot to watch the sunset, but this is not where we are going to stay for the sunset. So let's go ahead and keep walking to our little secret spot for the end of the day. Well, for the end of the day, I need to take a swim, and it is way too hot here in Ohrid. So we've come down to a little secret beach. This is like Labino Beach, I think it's the name of it. It's on the other side of sort of Ohrid, and I know you might be thinking, wait, what about the sunset at like the most famous church of like St. John? Like that's the main view of Macedonia. If you're thinking that, watch my previous video because that is where I spent sunset yesterday. But this beach here is incredible and the water looks so clear and it looks amazing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in the water. Whoa. I have to say I have a love-hate relationship with this beach. What I love is that the water is super clear. It is literally as blue as it gets. And I mean, that is to say, that's basically all of Lake Ohrid. It's all just super, super incredibly blue, incredibly clear. And you can see all the rocks and everything. The problem and the reason I hate it is literally what I just said, the rocks. They are a pain for you to get there. I think literally just from like 5 meters out from shore, you'll start hitting rocks and it hurts. Like, I think I might have gashed my knee, but it is painful to get out into the water, and to come back, it's just as painful. So it's too rocky for me, I would say. And even though you're swimming for like 15 minutes, you take another 15 minutes just to walk up to the shore. So for me, not really that worth it. But from here, we're gonna enjoy the sunset. It's gonna be beautiful. And I'm gonna show you guys why this little private little beach, it's a public beach, but it's not really well known. So it's kind of like a little hidden secret here in Ohrid. But this might be one of the best beaches you're gonna get here in the city. Well, once again here from Macedonia, we have seen another incredible sunset. It's like every day here, the sun just sets right behind those mountains over there, and it is honestly one of the best sunsets you're gonna get in the world. Like I said, this beach, it's a nice beach. It's honestly an incredible beach. It's just really, really pebbly, which makes it really, really hard to actually get in the water. But as you can probably see, there were boats that were sort of going by. They have tour boats that sort of run around the lake all the time. But anyways, Ohrid, what a beautiful town, what a historic town. We've seen quite a lot of churches today. We've seen, you know, the history of the Ottomans, the fortress, the mosques, and of course the old bazaar street, the old town. This city, I think, is one of the most beautiful cities you're gonna find in the Balkans. It's got the perfect mix of touristy, but yet at the same time, there are still things that are absolutely worth seeing. If you haven't heard about Lake Ohrid, if you don't come to Lake Ohrid, you are missing out. There's something for everybody. There's if you love restaurants and cafes, there's a bunch of those. If you love nature, a bunch of hikes you can do. If you love history, there's a lot of history for you to see as well. So there's just something for everyone, and I think that is what makes Ohrid such an amazing place to visit. But regardless, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more food and travel videos. This is the last one here from Macedonia, here from Lake Ohrid, unfortunately, but I've loved my time here. This is one of the most beautiful spots in Europe, and if you don't know about it, what are you doing? Because you gotta come here as soon as you can. There are very few lakes in the world that can be as beautiful as Lake Ohrid, and there's a reason this place is called Jerusalem of Europe, and there's a reason they built so many churches here. They wouldn't build it in a random place if it wasn't beautiful and it wasn't stunning like Lake Ohrid is. With that, I'm gonna see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Bye guys.